can see, we know that we've already heard of alpha, we've heard of beta. Yeah, we know that gamma's there as a variant of concern. Delta, a variant of concern. Epsilon, they class that as a variant that's been de-escalated, but there's not enough evidence to me to be even putting there. Zeta, another one that's been de-escalated. Eta, another de-escalated one. Theta, another de-escalated one. Iota, another de-escalated one. Kappa, I think that's de-escalated also. Lambda, that's of interest. Mu, of interest. Nu, not heard yet. Hasn't been labeled. That's not a label for any variant yet. Z, we know that I do know of a variant that's out there classed as that, but I think it might be classed as de-escalated. Everyone knows what Omicron does.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Out the Box Podcast with the legends that be.
How we doing, people? Welcome back to another episode. We are into season 2. Hope to see you all in the comments. I hope that you're going to like this video and appreciate the information that we're going to bring you to today. My name is JNG News. Big shout out to the panel. How are we all doing?
People there.
Wait.
I hope you enjoy the episode today. It's going to be a banger, as per usual. Big up the panel. Let's get to it.
Manlike. So, we're back again. Season 2, Corona season still. We're looking at today variants from A to Z. Now, since coronavirus has been attacking us from 2 years ago, apparently, there's been a lot of mutations of coronavirus. So we're going to be going through that today and seeing any kind of linkages with anything. Right, so the first article we're going to run with is from WebMD. So we'll start here with variants of coronavirus. What is COVID-19 variant? Viruses are always changing, and that can cause new variants or strain of a virus to form. A variant usually doesn't affect how the virus works, but sometimes they make it act in different ways. Scientists around the world are tracking changes in the virus that causes COVID-19. Their research is helping experts understand whether certain COVID-19 variants spread faster than others, how they might affect your health, and how effective different vaccines may be against them. How many coronaviruses are there? There are definitely loads, guys. Coronavirus didn't just pop up recently. There are a large family of viruses that have been around for a long time. Many of them can cause a variety of illnesses, from mild coughs to severe respiratory illnesses. The new or novel coronavirus that's caused COVID-19 is one of the several known to infect humans. It probably has been around for some time in animals. Sometimes a virus in animals crosses over to people. That's what scientists think happened here. So the virus isn't new to this world, but it is new to the humans. And we definitely know that this virus hasn't crossed over from human to animal. It was engineered, guys. Yeah, we know this already. When scientists found out that they'd been making people sick in 2019, they named it as novel coronavirus. Experts call these strains SARS-CoV-2. Everyone knows that. How do variants happen? So this is quite important. Coronavirus have all their genetic material in something called RNA. I can't say that word. Salicylic acid.
Ribonucleic acid.
That's the one. Thank you. RNA have some similarities to DNA, but they are not the same. When viruses infect you, they attach to your cells, get inside them, and make copies of their RNA, which helps them spread. If there's a copy mistake, the RNA gets changed. Scientists call those changes mutations. The changes happen randomly and it's by accident. It's normal part of what happens to viruses as they multiply and spread. Because the changes are random, they make little to no difference in a person's health. Other times, it may cause disease. For example, one reason you need a flu shot every year is because influenza viruses changes from year to year. This year's flu virus probably isn't the exact same one that circulated last year. If a virus has a random change that makes it easier to infect people and spread, that variant becomes more common. The bottom line is all viruses, including coronaviruses, can change over time. One thing that article didn't really bring up, which I was a bit surprised, is that they never said about how forcing, a new vaccine or a new thing into the bodies of all the people doesn't allow the virus to be able to live, so it has to find other ways to do it. But it was all mainly about like how naturally it happens and not how artificially they pump us with stuff, which is mad. So what do you think, guys, about that?
Well, I actually do kind of second your opinion, firstly. Don't get me wrong, I do think maybe if they're going to talk about that, they might talk about that in another article. I do believe that it's more of an explanation sort of thing rather than a in-depth sort of essay or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? But it is true what you say though, like when it comes to that, like they're talking about one thing, but there are other ways that viruses can get to you. And they didn't talk about that. Maybe because they were talking about sense, but I don't know.
It's loaded information to a sense, they're only telling us, as they're saying, the way that it can naturally occur, not how when it's created, and two other ways that it can be assimilated into the body. So yeah, the information is weighted, so I would take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, boy. Right, GMG, you want to run that?
All right, so MU COVID variants, all you need to know about the new UK virus strain. So a new strain has emerged. Shout out to Science Focus. There has been no new instances of the MU coronavirus variant in the UK, but the strains continue to be monitored as a variant of interest. There have been no new cases of the mutant variant of interest in England within the 2 weeks leading up to the 5th of January 2022. The UK government has confirmed, despite this, Public Health England and the World Health Organization, also known as WHO, are still closely monitoring the strain because it is of some concern and interest. Some scientists have warned that the MU strain, also known as B.1.621, could be a problem if it were to become the dominant variant. This is due to Mu variant having the ability to spread more easily through cells in human bodies, something that is also seen in the Delta variant. So this is essentially what they're considering to be one of the stronger variants from the ones I believe to be seen currently, or what we've dealt with so far. So meanwhile, the Omicron variant has quickly overtaken Delta to become the dominant UK coronavirus strain. In the last 2 weeks, there has been 274,470 new Omicron cases reported. So how many cases of the MU virus have been detected in the UK? According to the UK government data, there has been a total of 59 cases of Mu COVID variant in the UK. The majority of these from July and August 2021. The figure is broken down as 53 cases in England, 3 cases in Scotland, 2 cases in Northern Ireland, and 1 case in Wales. Well, I'm telling you now, they've kept that quiet down there. The strain has been called, what's that say? VUI 21JUL01 by Public Health England. So will vaccines still work against the Mu variant? And against, this is going to be a question that's going to come, to the table for a lot of people, because with all these different vaccinations that are in place and all these different variants keep occurring, obviously this is a question that a lot of people are going to be asking. So there is not yet enough evidence to say conclusively whether the Mu variant will be able to evade protection from the coronavirus vaccine. One study published on the 15th of December 2021 by scientists in the USA tested 24 of the Moderna coronavirus against infection with the Mu variant. They found that when compared with no vaccination, a double jab was 90% effective against Mu. So there was still a 10% chance that people weren't obviously being affected. Another study published the 26th of September 2021 tested effectiveness of the biotech Pfizer vaccine against the Mu variant. The study used samples from the people who had been double jabbed, collected 1 week after their second dose. Research found that while the effectiveness of the Pfizer vaccine was reduced to 79%, compared to the 96% effectiveness at neutralizing the original COVID-19 strain, it still possesses an adequate ability to neutralize the majority of the variants. So what other variants have been identified in the UK? As of the 7th of January this year, there are 5 strains considered to be of concern by PHE,
and we will be going into those,
including the Omicron, Delta, and Alpha variant. So, what are your guys' thoughts and opinions on this situation? We have.
I mean, you know, variants are always going to keep coming up. The vaccines are going to be less and less effective. They're going to have to add more and more boosters. It's all downhill, mate. Wrong.
My thing with this is, you know, that it says it's 90% effective at this current moment in time. So won't the mutation become stronger, and then maybe essentially it won't be as effective, or maybe, as they say, the testing have been proven sometimes, you know, to be false, and the data could be inconclusive from what they currently have at this current moment in time because it's such a new development. But that's how I feel.
Yeah.
So,
and if you don't agree with my opinion, leave it in the comment section down below. But if you are enjoying the video, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel.
Man,
no. Just quickly, yeah, my thoughts on it is, as you lot have sort of already said, the more that it affects people, the more that they try and find ways to stop it, the more it's going to try and find ways to evade immunity. That is what a virus does. You know, and as we're going to go into, there is obviously going to be many more mutations, many more variants that we will hear about, variants that we will not hear about or haven't heard about yet, which we will be getting into.
Manlike?
Yeah, man. So SARS-CoV-2 variants of concern as of 13th of January 2022. This article is from the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control. So actually quite credible. So the ECDC regularly assesses new evidence of variants detected through epidemic intelligence, rules-based genomic variant screening, or other scientific sourcing. If a decision is made to add, remove, or change the category for any variant, the tables are updated to reflect this change. The tables are regularly sent for consultation to ECDC and WHO Regional Office for Europe's Joint Virus Characterization Working Group. The rules-based genomic screening is performed by using an open source algorithm. The weekly ECDC variant surveillance data report can be found in the weekly COVID-19 country overviews published on their website. So if you'd like to go up a little bit, and I'll just quickly give a little description of the tables. So as you can see, people, like that, I won't actually just read too tough, but you can see in the category there's variants of concern, which will be classed as VOC, variant of interest, VOI, variant under monitoring, VUM. You know what I mean? So that is basically the key. You know what I mean? That's the key. So that's letting you know, if you see that, just remember what it means. And then obviously you've got WHO labels. You know what I mean? So I'll quickly just read off a little piece of that. You know what I mean? As of the 31st of May 2021, WHO proposed labels for global SARS-CoV-2 variants of concern and variants of interest to use alongside the scientific, I'm not gonna butcher myself and butcher that word, yeah, like in communication about variants to the public. This list includes variants on WHO's global list of VOC and VOI, which is updated as WHO's list changes. Variants of concern. For these variants, clear evidence is available indicating a significant impact on transmissibility, severity, and/or immunity that is likely to have an impact on the epidemiological situation in the EU/EEA. The combined genomic, epidemiological, and in vitro evidence for these properties invokes at least moderate confidence. In addition, all the criteria for variants of interest and under monitoring outlined below apply. So if we go through this table, it's nice and easy. So as we know, like we've got Beta, and that was found in South Africa, September 2020. It's increased by, I think, in brackets by 1. And on immunity, 2 or 3, on severity, 4 or 5. So as you can see, there's one that's not talked about that much, which is Gamma, which was found in Brazil in December of 2020. It's obviously a bit more, how can I put it? A bit more dangerous. You know what I mean?
A bit more deadly.
Yeah, than obviously like the Beta. You know what I mean? I think it's something that we need to look out for. You know what I mean? So that's just another one that you need to watch out for, something they might put out. You don't know what variant they're going to put out next. We already know about Delta. We know what Delta does. You know what I mean?
Some Alpha isn't listed.
I don't know, because the Alpha is, I think, the original. It's the first. Of course. So obviously we know about Delta. We know about Omicron. Yeah, so they are of concern. One of them is not heard of.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Not heard of at all. So I think we need to watch out for that. That might be the next one that's the new entry. Then we have variants of interest. So these are ones that they're looking at closely to me, which is the Mu variant. You know what I mean? The country was first detected in Colombia, but we know that it's kind of changed a bit and gone to, it's more of a UK variant now, which was found in January 2021. Look at the number of increase, look at the number of immunity. There's no evidence on the impact of severity though. Then we have Lambda. Obviously another one that's not heard of, that we haven't heard of at all. Yeah. First found in Peru, December also 2020. There's no evidence on transmissibility. So we don't know how quickly or how slowly it moves.
Yeah, of the evidence that we have currently.
But we know on immunity, it's increased compared to the Mu variant. You know what I mean? There's no evidence on severity yet. Like, so the ones that say no evidence like the Mu, and obviously with this Lambda, I am slightly worried because you don't know what they're going to put there. You know what I mean? And then obviously underneath this, we have a variant of interest that has no name yet. And it was first detected in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
June 2021. Transmissibility increased 23. It's similar, you know what I mean, with others, you know what I mean, with 23, 24. Similar again on severity, but there is evidence of severity. Community based, so if it gets into the community, then there's obviously VUM, which is variants under monitoring. And there's quite a few here, if I remember correctly. So as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that have not been given their labels yet. You know what I mean? Found in India, South Africa, United Kingdom, Congo. Not much evidence on any of these yet. They're just monitoring. They're keeping their eye on it.
De-escalated variants.
So these additional variants. Let me just read that a little bit for the people there. These additional variants of SARS-CoV-2 have been de-escalated based on at least one of the following criteria. 1, the variant is no longer circulating. 2, the variant has been circulating for a long time without any impact on overall epidemiological situation. 3, scientific evidence demonstrates that the variant is not associated with any concerning properties. So alpha is now that variant. Like basically, he's been put in that category now. Epsilon is in that. But there's no evidence. It's unclear here. So I don't know about that yet. There's a lot of no evidence, right?
Yeah, which makes it inconclusive to make a decision.
And if you can notice, like they are using the Greek alphabet a lot, like for their labels. So what I would like to ask, Jay, if possible, is could you pull up a image of the Greek alphabet? Thank you. So as we can see, we know that we've already heard of alpha, we've heard of beta. Yeah, we know that gamma's there as a variant of concern. Delta, a variant of concern. Epsilon, they class that as a variant that's been de-escalated, but there's not enough evidence to me to be even put in there. Zeta, another one that's been de-escalated. Eta, another de-escalated one. Theta, another de-escalated one. Iota, another de-escalated one. Kappa, I think that's de-escalated also. Lambda, that's of interest. Mu, of interest. Nu, not heard yet. Hasn't been labeled. That's not a label for any variant yet. Z, we know that I do know of a variant that's out there classed as that, but I think it might be classed as de-escalated. Everyone knows what Omicron does. So as you can see, they're using these. There's some that hasn't been used. There's some that hasn't been already. Yeah, there's some that hasn't been given enough evidence yet for me. Because I do believe that some of them de-escalated variants are going to be coming off that list real soon and be putting into VOCs and VOIs. You know what I mean? So for the people then, in the comments, if you do believe there's going to be more variants out there, what labels do you see that haven't been used yet that you believe that could be coming out there? Let me know in the comments.
Well, so yeah, man. I mean, a lot of these names I never even heard of. So when I saw them, it was like, what? Are you mad? Like, all of these have been out and has been affecting people. I mean, these have been de-escalated, yeah? So at one point, they must have been very effective before they got de-escalated.
But here's the thing: look at the increases. But yet on immunity, on severity, and like there's not enough evidence. There's no evidence like that. It's like they haven't found evidence yet. As much as they think, I do believe that some of these are going to pop off this list and go on to another list that's higher up from there.
Yeah,
100%. So, New Scientist 2022 preview. What will the coronavirus do next? So let's read on. We have been watching the evolution in action as the coronavirus variant after another emerges and triggers further waves of the infection around the world. There is every reason to think that this will continue during 2022, and there is no guarantee the future variants will be any less dangerous. For the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus, survival is all about infecting as many people as possible. Variants that are better at spreading will outcompete other variants. A key part of this transmissibility, when the original version of the virus began spreading, every infected person, 2 or 3 others on average. Delta infected 6 or 7, and Omicron seems to be even more contagious. So obviously, while time goes on and more variants occur, there'll probably be more deadly ones that then show their heads. It isn't yet fully understood how the virus is becoming more infectious, but with Delta, it might be because it is better at replicating itself, meaning infecting people shed more of the virus. Infecting people is no longer as easy as it used to be. However, most people in the world have some degree of immunity because of past infection or vaccination. So variants such as Omicron are evolving to evade the immunity, typically through changes in the outer spike protein, that main target of our antibodies. So as it says, it's a mutant, it's going to adapt to try to survive. There is a limit to how much more infectious the virus can become, but there may be no limit to the ability to evade our immune response. As happens with human flu viruses, we may see the continual emerge of new variants that evade immunity enough to cause waves after wave of infection. It is possible that over time, different viral lineages will persist and diverge rather than successive variants wiping out all others and sweeping to dominance. This could require different vaccines to be combined into a single dose, as is done with the flu vaccination. So let us know, guys, how you feel about having a combined vaccination on top of all the vaccinations you've already had and the boosters you already had. Let us know in the comment section down below how that makes you feel. It is often claimed that new viruses will evolve to cause milder symptoms, but because SARS-CoV-2 is more infectious just before symptoms appear, there is little selective pressure for it to do so. Smallpox was highly lethal and might have become worse over time. Flu still exacts a high annual death toll. Another concern is that viruses may be circulating in several animals, generating new variants that could jump back into people. While it is possible that further variants may cause more severe illnesses in people with no immunity, most people in the world do now have some immunity. This is likely to continue to provide some protection against severe illnesses, even if it fails to prevent infections. But we can expect the immunity to fade over time. Even if you have already had a booster shot, you will find yourself standing in line to get another jab in 2022 or 2 to protect you from stigma, epsilon, or maybe even more.
And Omega. Oh my gosh.
Let us know how you all feel about taking more vaccinations and boosters in 2022 in the comment section down below. And like the video if you're enjoying what we're doing here today.
Straight up, man. Straight up.
Yeah, he's like, that's straight up Greek alphabet, fam. Straight up. The next one's all going to be in the Greek alphabet, 100.
I'm glad I'm not vaccinated and I don't have to dare to go through all of this.
Did I not say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So guys, obviously from the conversation that we've had today and the information that you've seen at hand, my question to the panel and my question to obviously everybody who's watching this, don't forget to obviously like the video, is how would you feel about having more boosters and more vaccinations and combined dosages, as some of the information that we read through previously? How would you feel about having increased vaccinations, increased boosters, and combined dosages in 2022? So I posted to the panel first of all.
So, first things first is that me personally, never. Man's natural. But I can see how they're going to sell it, because all they're going to sell it is on health and safety, and people are going to buy into that. That's the issue.
Okay. B?
So for me, like, I'm looking at it from a little bit of a different view in it. You know what I mean? I'm thinking of, all right, cool, you want to go and do that. And you know there's going to be pro-vaxxers that are going to be willing to stand in line and get their boosters and get their vaccine. Yeah. But at the same time, what happens when you do that and you tell them, oh, but by the way, in 8 to 12 weeks, you got to have another one. Oh, by the way, in 10 weeks, you got to have another one. Oh, yeah, by the way, in 8 weeks, you got to have another one. When's, like, so they got to think of all these other variables, including the variable I think might happen, maybe, yeah, which is, what happens when everyone actually starts getting bored, even the pro-vaxxers? He was like, hey, do you know what? I'm bored of this now, innit?
Yeah.
Why am I standing in line just to have a needle stuck in my arm every 8 weeks? It's long.
But I also think, like, so much chemicals being pumped into your body is going to affect your immune system, and it's going to affect the rest of your body system, man. Because you're not meant to have all of that pumped into you.
That's a question I'll pose to the both of you. So if they're looking to do that, yeah, and we already know with certain research that we've done in that, you know what I mean, on what the vaccine is, what they try and do with the vaccine still, you know what I mean? Like, do you not think that this is like a push? Like, right, we've done this stage, you've done this stage. Maybe if there is a plan or to go towards some sort of end game, if there is this not a push now? They're going to start using other variants to start pushing like more and more vaccines, more and more this. There's going to be something new that you've got to take as well as the vaccine. It's like there might be a tablet or something you've got to take too. Before you know.
I can agree with you on that point, because since obviously when the first variant come out, there was a vaccination, then another variant was developed, then there was another vaccination, then there was a booster, then then there was different types of variations that you can have. I can just see this as big pharma are going to make a lot of money off this, and I believe people who are blind and don't do their own research into what is actually in these vaccinations, because obviously previously on the show, like beforehand in other episodes, go and check out the other episodes as well, guys. They're all in the playlist. We talked about like there being salt and sugar and stuff in certain vaccinations and things like that. So that doesn't make me personally feel confident in like taking more vaccinations. I haven't even taken any, but if I was someone who was vaccinated and was opposed this, I could see them wanting to refuse as well, because as you're saying, people are going to get bored of every 6 to 8 weeks. Oh, got to stand in line and go get a vaccination, and then a new variant comes out. So if anything, I just think it's going to deter more people away from getting vaccinated, and I think it will push more people into actually learning what is either in the vaccination that they're taking or what they're currently offering people to exhibit into their body. Plus, as we were saying earlier, it's unnatural. Our body can only take in certain things, but like we're not meant to have all these things in our body, as Jay said. So what's going to happen when it comes to a point where they just don't have a vaccine that's able to tackle a new variant? Because as some of the cases of the things are saying, it's untransmissible, it's undetectable, whereas a virus is going to
not even that, even worse than that. This is our mRNA, this vaccine, this stuff. This is affecting your immune system. So what happens in like 4 years time after you've been taking all these boosters and that, your immune system don't work for anything. Yeah,
and it's just deteriorated to a point where you're now getting wiped out by the common cold.
That's the problem.
And not only that, what happens if your body just decides to give up, man? Like a vaccine actually does something wrong. It affects something else, and actually something else goes wrong, and you have to go hospital for that.
And everybody's different as well. Like how it could affect one person, it could vastly, in a bad way, affect someone else in, a very, very critical way. And I think, this is my personal opinion, but I think there's too much money that is getting poured into like the coronavirus. What about all the other ailments that are still damaging to this day? Like I think they should widespread the money and stop making the NHS work on a shoestring and try and tackle coronavirus, because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're not willing to do things like that, but yet they're willing to put $3 billion into a track and trace thing. It's mad. It's mad.
Billions of pounds into that thing, blood. Wow.
I couldn't even go bowling today, man. Man tried to go bowling and straight up, couldn't go. Was gonna go with a couple of younger members of my family. Where else we're gonna go do that? And came up with the COVID passes. Ain't got a COVID pass, can't go. So none of us could go. Even though I was with people who were vaccinated, but because they didn't have COVID passes on them, they couldn't even go and enjoy. It's mad. It's mad. At least it's fun out here.
Right. So guys, thank you for coming back, watching a next episode of Out the Box with us guys, always here trying to help represent and get involved with the public and that. So one thing I would say is, as I always say every week, do your due diligence, man. Everything obviously we've talked about, you can go and find that for yourself on the website, so you've seen that review. And also let's do your own due diligence on natural health, man, because natural health is the easiest way to live in it, guys. So let's just do that, boss. It just makes sense.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate your time here today. If you've been enjoying this content, then don't forget to leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you want to see more from us. Click on the playlist to see the previous episodes so you can run through all them. It's in a nice big playlist for you all there. We're now on to season 2, smashing our way into season 3. I've been GMG News. Big shout out to the panel. OTB.
Well, another episode done. We hope you enjoyed. Remember, big red button, notification bell, likes, comments, share, all the good stuff. You know what I mean? And other than that, this is Manlike B.Dot. People there, people there, people there. I'm out.
Jeez.